Admittingly, this franchise is considered by many to be one of the greatest in gaming. Maybe not the most recent titles, but personally myself, I grew up playing Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations, which I consider some of my favorite games of all time. I just love the characters of Altair and Ezio. But for the last couple of years, this franchise honestly has suffered from fatigue, and that's something that can also be seen in sales. But Ubisoft gave Assassin's Creed a break in 2016, a much needed one. And from the looks of it, they are trying to revamp this series in 2017 by going further into the past with Assassin's Creed Empire. And today we're going to be breaking down 5 things that you must know about this next Assassin's Creed game. Nonetheless, let's jump right into it here at the number 5 spot with the huge leaked details that came from a Ubisoft developer. All of this information for the most part has been backed by separate sources connected with Kotaku. In 2016, many gamers were shocked to know that Ubisoft was finally taking a year off for Assassin's Creed, at least with games. And many were in disbelief, but a Ubisoft insider and developer discussed on 4chan what the next game would be like. They stated the game would take place in ancient Egypt, long before the Templars and Assassins, and somewhat of a prequel story, and would gain a lot of inspiration from the Witcher series, specifically saying the game is going for a Witcher feel, with player progression, freeform combat system, horses will be back, and boats as well. They also added information on our next protagonist, describing him as an ex-slave or slave, saying that he looks a lot like Altair but with darker skin. They also added later on saying that he is not edgy from the Ubisoft developers' understanding, but he's a nobody that barely speaks, and apparently they'll have a pet eagle that we will be able to control. Actually sounds pretty cool. So far, all this information sounds promising, and it really sounds like Ubisoft is trying to garner the interest back into this franchise, and adding a Witcher feel to this upcoming game could be the direction that many of us have always wanted. But to the 4th spot we have is the development of this game. Again, going back to the Ubisoft developer who has given us some huge gameplay information, they also told us that this would be developed by the team behind Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Ubisoft Montreal, adding that the reason why there wasn't a game in 2016 was because the company was trying to revamp this franchise, also stating that one of the reasons why ancient Egypt was chosen as the setting was they wanted the least amount of historical documentation to get freedom, so they didn't have to worry about historical accuracy. The source was also asked about the game using a lot of its previous features and elements that have been seen in past Assassin's Creed games, in which they said Empire is going to have a lot less recycling, which would equal us getting something very different in terms of gameplay. We really don't know much about the story, but this source claims that this one has a lot more story than any of the rest, which is exciting news, and maybe they'll invest more time into side content to truly bring this open world alive. The last detail we did get on this game's development from this Ubisoft developer was when they were asked about the changes with Assassin's Creed Empire, in which they replied, quote, "The people in charge seem to think the mechanics don't work in that setting. I kind of understand though. You have to redesign the character and his or her controls from scratch. That means you cannot recycle animations and other systems. Every Assassin's Creed game is expensive to make, so recycling is essential. Without it, other things will be sacrificed." Unquote. As you all can gather, it sounds like Ubisoft, after so many Assassin's Creed games, really wants to change this next game in every capacity. And hopefully this breath of fresh air for this franchise will bring us a phenomenal adventure in ancient Egypt. Now the 3 spot we have is the open world. With this game going to ancient Egypt, it is said the setting will be 3 times bigger than Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and there won't be any loading of villages because everything will be seamless. There will also be very little huge cities within this game, but instead many villages spread out, which obviously is a pretty drastic change as gameplay for the longest time has been supported with parkouring buildings. Expect to see many pyramids, as within Black Flag we did get an Easter egg image of ancient Egypt, which could be our first peek at the setting. Besides from that, we obviously will be getting tombs, temples, villages, and a whole lot of sand. At the number 2 spot we have the first leaked gameplay image. Years ago, Ubisoft was planning an early Assassin's Creed game set in ancient Egypt, which ended up being cancelled, and that was known as Osiris. Some of the game's art and early gameplay images have been leaked over the years, and they were also spotted in Assassin's Creed Black Flag as an Easter egg, and also mentioned within Watch Dogs 2.
I can assure you there's no way the trailer's getting out.
Can you? Can you assure me? After what happened with Unity, Syndicate, Osiris?
Our security has never been tighter.
Some rumors as of late have said that Ubisoft could be using the original design as inspiration, and maybe even using some of the assets for this upcoming Assassin's Creed game. But just about a month ago, we may have gotten our first actual look into Assassin's Creed Empire with this leaked gameplay image. What we see is more than likely a protagonist who appears to have the usual hidden blade, hood folded down, weapons and shield on their back as they approach some type of pyramid. While the image doesn't show off too much, it does add some confirmation to this Egypt setting, and it's also our first early look at this game. game. Now lastly, the number 1 spot we have is when will we get our hands on Assassin's Creed Empire? Recently around March, Swiss gaming retailer WOG reported Assassin's Creed Empire would release in Q4 of 2017 for Xbox One. No version of the PlayStation 4 or PC was mentioned, but the Ubisoft developer who leaked all the game details to 4chan that I mentioned earlier did say the game was coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, presumably the same day, and that there would probably not be a Nintendo Switch port over, which really is not surprising. Right now, most of us are expecting a reveal for Assassin's Creed Empire anytime now. Late 2017 will be stacked, with games like Call of Duty World War II, Red Dead Redemption 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Middle-earth Shadow of War, Destiny 2, Super Mario Odyssey, State of Decay 2, a lot of 2s, and I'm sure there will be many more huge AAA games coming, and that really makes me wonder if this will affect the release date of Assassin's Creed Empire, as I'm sure Ubisoft doesn't want to see downward sales again, but this time because of competition, and this leads me to think that I wouldn't be surprised to see this game launch later on in November of 2017. Either way, it really feels that Ubisoft is going to bring us a great Assassin's Creed game with many needed changes to bring back life to this franchise. I myself have been very skeptical of Ubisoft games because with Unity, Syndicate, and most of these new Assassin's Creed games, they just haven't felt different, and they really felt like the same thing over and over again. So going all the way back to ancient Egypt with little recycled elements and new content sounds promising, and I really hope that this game and story can blow me away later on in this year. But anyway guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to smack that like button if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value, and let me know down in the comment section below what you think about Assassin's Creed Empire. Also make sure to check out some of the other videos on upcoming games, and I'll see you later.